Hello, and welcome back to another live stream. Tonight, we're going to be finishing up our short Deadlands adventure run by Brent. For those of you that have watched the stuff so far, that's awesome. We have this as part of a playlist, so catch up on the episodes. Should be pretty easy. I don't know if it's linked, but we'll try to make sure that you guys have access to that down in the description. And we hope you guys have enjoyed it so far. Otherwise, I'm going to turn it over to Brent because he is the what is it, Marshall? Marshall. He's
It
the
is,
Marshall.
It is
for
Marshall in
Deadlands.
Deadlands. Yeah, it is.
So-
It is
Master of
Marshall.
gaming.
He is our guiding hand for this evening. So
Marshall instead of Game Master, like any other game, it's the very specific Marshall.
Hey
for
man, every
Deadlands.
game needs to have their.
They don't. They really don't.
They
They
love it.
don't. They do love
I don't-
it, but I
I
don't.
don't know. I kind of like some of the cool titles that you get. Marshall is pretty neat. Game
Handler.
Master, Dungeon Master,
Handler in Delta Green.
Yeah, it just adds a little flavor. You know,
What is it
a
in
little tiny
Inevitable?
flavor. I don't know. Is it storyteller? I don't think it actually. I remember what they said.
It could be Marshall in Inevitable too.
You could.
Westerny. Well, probably not legally, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to double check. I now have to think about it because I don't remember seeing anything. I think it's just said Game Master, but I've read so many beginnings of books right now, like I get a little jumbled sometimes.
It's Warden in Mothership.
Yeah.
Which I forgot until just now.
Mhm.
All right. So, where we left our last intrepid adventurers was you guys were clearing one of the homes, and I believe Chester had an accident. He had an oopsie on a stealth roll, and got attacked, got himself attacked and wounded.
I was about to say, like, you make it sound like I had an oopsie and like, ooh, I just had a little bit of an accident when I made a little bit too much noise kicking down a door, and an elder vampire thing basically ripped the back off of my neck.
Kind of your shoulder neck, yeah, but yeah. So
this spot right here.
Jubal threw a fire card at the vampire and immolated it, the creature, and then drug you back to the church where you are now resting. If Jabal would like to do a medical roll, we can try and heal your wound. Otherwise, you're going to have that wound for a while.
I will try. So
You know what? As
I get
he's
a D4
healing
and
me,
a
I'm looking
D6
up
or
at
just
him.
a D4.
It's a D4 and the D6. You always get the D6 because you're player characters.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm looking at him pleadingly, like, yeah, sounds like a good way for my character to plead for his life.
Chester's too tough to plead. I got a 2 and a 6, so I'm going to go ahead and reroll that 6.
Yay!
I got a 4,
you
so I
can
got a
use
10
bennies, too.
on the healing check.
Let me look here. All right. Well, you did roll very well with a raise, so you did manage to. I mean, you still have the wound cosmetically, but you no longer have your -1 for the wound.
Okay.
It is healed for all intents and purposes. It is bound and stuffed with gauze and whatever else they put on things in the Old West to make sure that it didn't get infected and kill
Whiskey,
you.
You know what? Just a dirty rag.
It's just dirty rag.
tobacco spit.
We got this out
You
of the
know what?
spittoon.
Well, I have to say that this rag's been through thick and thin with me, so use this one.
Actually,
You
I
know.
think if you just put the plug tobacco in your mouth and chew it for about 30 seconds and then put that in the wound,
Mud. They pack it tight with mud.
yeah,
We're outside.
I think he's going to be fine.
Perfect. Well, I after he bandaged me up and I kind of flex my shoulder and I tell him we got to get back out there. It's too dangerous for these things, whatever they are, to live, and got to save this town. I think that bounty be damned.
So treatment church, I'm gonna say, I know it's all close together, but you were dragging him, so I'm gonna say it's about an hour later than it was. So
Sure.
you're getting pretty close to afternoon now.
Okay. Well, I mean, I feel like, there's
Actually, yeah, it's pretty close to afternoon because you guys did brought all that food and all the guns and everything back to.
Yeah. Yeah, we tried to arm the citizenry so that they could help. And if any able-bodied want to go out there and form a posse in order to take out some of these vampires, we wouldn't hate it, I guess.
They'll protect the church. Like some of them can use guns and they'll shoot out of the church, but they're not going to go out with you guys.
They do realize that may increase the amount of fire that we use.
Not unless you tell them that.
But sometimes you got to save people by any means necessary.
I look at it as an opportunity for somebody to come in and open a sawmill to help rebuild the town.
I mean, they do see the smoke billowing from the fire that you started last week. And they did ask some questions, but they don't say anything once you tell them that, it looks like you set the coach on fire and then the saloon on caught shortly after that.
Yeah. I was about to say, we didn't purposefully burn down the saloon, the place of sin that it is, but that's not this character. He doesn't really care. You can go drinking and hoard if you like.
Well, and the priest doesn't say anything. He doesn't seem to care, so.
Yeah, but he was like.
So in looking at the buildings, it seems like the chance of the most of them are going to be in the hotel. I don't mind clearing out the other places one by one, because we've technically already cleared out the sheriff's office, I think.
Well, sheriffs. Did we clear out? Yeah, we cleared out the sheriffs. We cleared out the jail, and technically, it would be hard pressed for something that doesn't do well with fire and light to live through the saloon burning. I mean, that at least takes 3 buildings that we've done. Right?
And there could be things in the stables, but I doubt it. There could be. I don't know. I think we might be able to get out of this with only one more thing burning.
Well, I mean, the hotel, is that what you're suggesting we put on fire, or do you want to clear it out and then
every other place seems like it's going to have 1 to 2 guys. The hotel likely has a dozen. I don't know. We've essentially cleared out the Pearson house and the general store. So
well, yeah, you've disabled the one in the general store, like you trapped.
So we've got the apothecary and the blacksmith next to the jail, the barbershop. Barbershop, the bank, and the apothecary. They probably don't want those burned down if we don't have to, but you're leading, Chester. I'll follow.
I don't think so. I think, but I think you have a good idea of clearing out the hotel as being one of the best places to go. Personally, I mean, technically, no, actually. So we got 8, 3, 4. Well,
there's 3 more houses: the barbershop, bank, and apothecary, and then whatever the stuff next to the bar was, the post office, the sheriff's office. Oh,
yeah. So I mean, we got a pretty good chunk already started. So
yeah.
So I think why don't we go to the hotel and try to clear that out? I'm a little worried, in my delirium, I didn't see anything about whatever that tall, skinny thing was that got out of the back of the coach at all. Did I? Didn't see it like a.
I think we are aware of that, but I think that's meta knowledge.
Well, you guys don't. He saw it the night before, getting out of the back of the back of the coach, but you just know that you're kind of you saw it get back in, so you think that's where it was, and then it wasn't. Other than smoke, there really wasn't a presence of it in the thing before you set it on fire. The coach.
Yeah, I mean, so when we were taking care of Billy, we made a gamble and let it loose. Maybe not the best gamble.
Yeah,
let's say.
it got out, but we burned the coach anyhow, so it doesn't have a place to go back to.
Yeah.
Not that it can't
So
find a new place.
let's take on 15 and just clear it out. I think that would be give us at least the best fight.
Well, my idea of clearing out 15 is setting it on fire.
The Hospitality Hotel?
Yes.
Well, I mean, that's fine. I just, that kid was in that barn. I'd hate for there to be someone else that's unturned that's been captured by these things. So I'd at least like to make sure that there's
flaming bottles of alcohol. We'll call out for anybody who's still alive.
Hey, is there anybody in there? Okay.
I mean, that's one way to do it. I was thinking like double checking a little bit more thoroughly to make sure that they weren't like, I don't know, knocked out, asleep, incapacitated. But
being bled slowly for food.
Yeah, one of those things.
If that's what you say, then I won't set it on fire. But my idea is to burn the hotel and clear everything else out one by one.
And that's fine. I think that my character's afraid if we jump in too hastily and we kill people that are possibly innocent. It's either A, going to ride on his conscience, or B, that's not what he wants to be remembered for. So he would rather have a more heroic statue instead of the alternative.
He would like it to be a noble statue of him standing upright in the middle of town, as opposed to the one with the flaming Molotov cocktail being thrown into a building of innocent people.
Well, the other one will be him being, gang bitten by vampires because he refused to kill most of them the most expeditious way we could.
I'm not knocking it.
That just, the man they call Jane, that wants
because I don't know how many innocent people died in the saloon.
So it's getting later. So as you guys discuss this, you realize it's starting to get dark.
Yeah,
it's going to get dark.
So let's go in and just do a quick sweep, and then if we don't find anything, then I'm okay with you lighting it up.
Okay.
You lightening it up?
He's got the fire card and stuff. He's got the. I'll watch for any.
Yeah, I'm not using magic. I'm using Molotov cocktails.
Yeah, I think you guys still have like a bag of
whiskey,
booze, right? Yeah, and dynamite. So yeah, you guys go back to the hotel. It doesn't take you very long to walk there. Again, it is starting to get late. It's probably about 4:00. It'll get dark at about 6. So yeah, what do you guys do?
Kind of rush through a little bit, I think that would be my goal.
Yeah, he can rush through. I'll cover him from afar, and I'm yelling at the top of my lungs. Anybody alive? Come out now.
Okay, so there are 20 rooms plus the downstairs room in the hotel. So rushing is going to be like, tell me how you want to rush through, like what you're doing to go through the hotel.
I'm not kicking indoors. That might be the tough part, but I want to check, like, if there's like a cellar or something, or a larder in the kitchen. If they seem like they treat humans as food, I wonder if there's a human being kept there. And then obvious, like, I don't know how easy it would be to be obvious, but like, I think we already said, like, check the last guest. Just check the rooms that have guests in them to see if they're all like sleeping vampires, kind of like poke in, poke.
Okay. So, as you go in, again, you smell that kind of like lingering acrid smell of smoke that the same as what you smelled in the coach. And then
that wasn't there before, though.
No.
As I walk in and I smell that,
where the tall, skinny guy's at now.
I wave Jeff to come over and a little closer.
Okay.
And I basically ready my Winchester rifle and get a bullet in the chamber kind of thing.
Okay. You see that the living quarters of what you assume were the owners, the back door that you guys checked before, it's still slightly ajar, like you guys left it. You guys opened it and then kind of closed it, but you didn't want to close it tight. So that's still there. Nothing seems to have changed there. If you go up the stairs and you start checking rooms, the door, pretty much the doors that supposedly have occupants are all locked. So if you want to go in, you will need to kick them open.
I thought we still have the pass key that we took.
Oh yeah, you do. Okay, yeah, you took the skeleton key. Thank you for reminding me. So yeah, you can unlock the door if you want to do that.
I mean, knock and say, is anybody alive in there? And if nobody answers, we know they're not in there.
Are you trying to do this quietly, or?
No. I am not being quiet at all. I'm not being. This is not a stealth operation.
Okay. So Mike, tell me what you're doing exactly. Are you the only one? Are you the one going up the stairs and checking the doors? And Jeff, are you hanging out downstairs, or?
I try to peek in the room that we opened, the downstairs one. Is the sheet still off the window?
You didn't take the sheet off this one. That was the one upstairs.
I thought we took it off of that one.
You left those two alone.
We just thought they were dead, and we went to the most recent checked-in occupant.
And then you saw the second person, and that was when you pulled the stuff off the wall.
Then I'll knock on the door downstairs.
And it went and it hid under the bed.
Yeah.
If you knock on the door downstairs, there's no answer. Same sort of thing, same smell, mixed with the smoke smell that's now newer in the room.
Then I pull the door shut and I use the skeleton key to lock it.
Okay.
That door is now locked. All right, Chester.
There.
What are you doing?
I'm going upstairs, and you said that if the doors are locked, they have.
You said you want to. So you want to check the floors, and then you want to check the kitchen. Do you check the kitchen first?
Yeah, the kitchen first. Yeah.
Okay, there is a larder with a downstairs with a, like the same sort of thing. It's like an underground like cellar type area.
Is there a smell?
The whole place smells like smoke. Right now, it's a thick, strange smoke. It kind of permeates everything. So,
do the light switches work?
No. None of the lights come on.
I find a lantern.
Yeah, there isn't a lantern that you can use. Yeah.
All right. You have your Winchester. I have a lantern. I have my pistol. You head down. I'll follow behind you.
Well, if we're going down into close quarters, I take my pistol out too. Just I put my safety on a Winchester, put it across the back, take the pistol out, just because that'll be easier to wave around in possible tight quarters. I go down there and just kind of look around, seeing if there's any children's, adults.
All right, roll. Give me a perception roll, please.
Okay. Perception roll.
What is it? Well, yeah, let me look at your character sheet.
It's notice, not perception.
Yeah, right? Sorry, notice. Yeah, notice. So it's your notice dice and your d6.
I'm glad you're doing this because my notice is a d4.
Yeah, d6 and d6. I mean, not to say that I didn't get a bunch of critical failures in a row last time.
Well, you're due for a non-critical failure, just a regular failure.
I got a 5. So at least I wasn't like just looking at my feet, if that helps.
Well, yep. So what happens is as you kind of who are you shining the lantern down there, or did you take the lantern with you?
He's shining the lantern down there.
I'm following behind him.
Okay, he's behind me.
So he's kind of holding the lantern. He's holding the lantern kind of above your shoulder, trying to keep the light out of your eyes as the darkness encroaches. And for a second, the darkness seems to kind of fight against the lantern light. And that's when you get attacked. And because you didn't do well and you didn't beat his stealth, he is attacking you first.
I shoot at the darkness. Is that
you will in a moment when you guys actually do your cards. but right now you're going to get attacked first. So what you see, Jeff, you see it because Mike's character kind of doesn't. But you only see it as it enters the bullseye light, and you see it's a heavily cloaked figure with long clawed fingers, and it just kind of tears at Chester. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll, see if it kills you.
Tough as nails.
Oh yeah, you are.
What do I roll to see if he kills me?
Well, I need to see if he hits you first. So 1 second.
Okay. I have a parry score if that helps.
Well, that's the target number to hit you. So let's see here. So he just gets. What's your parry?
5.
He gets to
is that a number? My parry is 5. Yeah.
Okay, so he did hit you. Do you have armor or anything of that nature? I believe I asked you this last time.
I have a really good looking duster, which I believe last time provided me about 0 protection against the fangs of the last creature. So I assume that we're in the similar position, but in this time it's claws. So
I assumed it was +0 against fangs, but +2 against claws.
I mean, there is a case to be made that I'm so skinny that there's a lot of duster between me and it's.
That's what that's the assumption that Chester made, that the duster would be good against claws, and he was sadly mistaken. So let me roll his damage, and then we can do your soak roll and stuff.
Ah, that's right. Vigor. Be brave, Chester. Be brave. I don't know if bravery has anything to do with this at this point. You know, this thing is beating up on the elderly. I don't know if I like that.
So, 1 sec. Oh, he just rolls. So he rolled a 9. What is your toughness?
My toughness is a 4.
Okay, so he stunned you with his first one, and then he also does a wound to you. Unless you can soak, but you want to roll your vigor to soak.
Yep. So I'm going to roll my vigor, and I'm going to roll a D4 exploding. I wonder if there's not knowing much about Savage Worlds, I wonder if there is something to be said that like having a D4 or multiple D4s helps you in some way.
I remember there was a thing in Earthdawn. There's like a treatise on why low dice aren't bad, because you can
roll ones as well.
You are more likely to roll a 1, just like you're more likely to roll a 4.
No, you're just as likely to roll a 1 as you are to roll a 4.
No, well, but you're more likely than on any other die.
That's true.
To explode or to critically
That's
fail.
true. So you don't soak the damage. So yeah, you take a wound. You're kind of hindered by the by you were surprised. It came out of the darkness like it was made from it, and just slices the front of your slices the gouge across your chest, ripping into your duster and the loose shirt beneath, and all you feel is pain.
I grimace.
So now we will draw cards. My little chart here. We'll draw cards. Do you get 2 cards? Is that right, Mike?
I do, because I have that one edge.
All right, so we're gonna draw for Chester first. You get a 10 and a jack.
Ooh.
So you'll have the jack.
The suicide jack. Just see if there's any portents there.
Jeff, you get a 8. And the vampire gets a 4. So it is Chester's turn.
I think the best thing to probably do is, was that Frank from Sunny from Philadelphia? And I started blasting. Is that what it is? Because I really don't think there's. I've got an unassailable darkness in front of me. I've got a dude behind me, and I'm on like a tiny staircase going down into a larder, or like stair ladder. You know, with those.
It's like a stair kind of ladder thing, and you would kind of have to run over Jubal to get up the stairs, so it would be very difficult to maneuver past him.
I don't really want to maneuver around him because I don't really know where.
Up?
I mean, you could. I mean, do I? So should I free action say move, back up? You know, yeah, I do that, and I, as I try to do a retreating fire with my pistol, just kind of unloading some rounds into the. I shoot at the darkness, best I can.
It's right in front of you. Like you can still kind of I mean, it didn't back up. It's like hands and kind of the front of it are in the light.
Man. Just hit it.
In the lamp's light, just to be clear.
Okay. Yep, I'm shooting.
Okay, go ahead and do your shooting.
And I use my free action to tell Jubal to back up the stairs. This is not the fight. This is not the place we want to have this fight. Okay. Let's see. Shooting I'm much better at. So D10 plus D6. Let's see if I can't roll double critical with that one. 1D10 plus 1D6. Not really.
How are you only getting 1d10 on using your shooting skill?
Well, because I have it. What do you mean? How am I only getting one?
Because it's a D10.
Okay, yeah, no, it's a D10. Okay, sorry, my bad.
It looks like I was a little bit surprised by the attack, and just in my haste to try to get Jubal up there, I'm kind of like yelling and kind of shooting, and I'm like probably bits and pieces of woods from the support beams are flying in which directions, but pretty ineffectual firing from.
You don't think the 4 hits something straight in front of you?
It doesn't hit him.
No.
There's too much darkness, too much. You're also at a -1 for being wounded. So yeah, you kind of fire up cinematically. You kind of fire a couple rounds of your pistol into the darkness, and
the flash kind of illuminating this ominous creature. I was like,
yeah, the flash illuminates that a much more pale face, and like golden yellow eyes staring at you, and a maw full of teeth, as it flies back a little bit, as it kind of twitches out of the way of the bullets, it seems like.
Just Jim Carrey's a little bit.
And what would you like to do, Jubal?
Jubal wanted to use some magic, but I don't want Chester to be the shit in the middle of this shit sandwich, so I'm gonna holster my Colt and climb up the stairs or the ladder.
Okay, you can take I believe you can take an attack action too.
Oh, can I? And move still?
Yeah. Right. You can move and attack. It'll be at a -1 because the vampire will be obscured by.
I'm gonna try bolt then.
Okay.
I'm gonna try bolt. So spellcasting is a D8, so I get a D8 and a D6, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I missed 3 and a 2.
Let's see. Let me look at something here. Just looking at the spellcasting cheat sheet really quick. All right, you just use the PowerPoint for it.
Okay, so I've used 2 PowerPoints. I'm down to 8, I think.
And it attacks Chester again.
Okay.
But I have moved, and did I clear the stairs? Did I move far
Yep.
enough to clear?
You got all the way up the stairs. Basically, you got all the way up the stairs outside the door, and you threw a card over Chester's shoulder. But because of where he's standing and the darkness, it kind of flared out and missed the creature.
That's fair.
He attacks. Oh, wait a minute.
Dun dun dun. Oh, that's Jeff's roll. Damn.
Oh, he gets 1d6 too.
Well, it did beat it this time though. So.
What's your parry again?
5, unless it goes down, then it's 4.
Okay. So he does hit you again, which I'm gonna say, because you technically would have needed to spend a Benny to take that last shoot action because you were shaken. But I'm gonna say, because you were surprised, I'm gonna say the shaken action won't happen until next turn. But do make your but he does hit you, so he's gonna roll for damage. And then we'll let you make your soul roll.
Sorry, I mean we can have that just be like I was cinematically firing into the darkness anyways. So
no, it's fine. We can just say you're shaking the next round with this attack, but it will do a wound if he does hit you, if he does damage to you.
Okay.
Let's see.
Go dice.
There's a lot to remember.
That's not bad.
He did an 8. What's your toughness? It's 4.
4, yeah.
So technically he does 2 more wounds unless you want to spend a Benny to automatically soak one of the wounds, or
vigor roll. I can do a vigor roll. That's what I got for you.
You can do a vigor roll. You don't have any bennies. You have 1 Benny point. I forgot to give you guys Benny points at the beginning. I was going to give you Benny points at the beginning of the game. So you both got 1 back.
I'm going to use it to soak.
I get an extra at the beginning of each game session.
So Mike has multiple.
Jeff has multiple.
Or Jeff has multiple, yes. Well, roll your vigor. So you can soak 1, but I think you can still roll your vigor too.
Well, why don't I roll my vigor first and see how that goes? Because I could roll a 1 again, or gambler's fallacy. I could roll a 4 and then another 4 and another 4.
You could.
No, 2 -1, 1. I'll use that Benny to soak.
Okay.
So I'm now at -2 wounds.
Correct. And now we draw cards again. So 1 second. Let me draw for you guys' initiative. You get another Jack and a 7, Mike. So you will be jacking it up. Jeff got a Queen and another Queen. I believe ties are by suit. I believe I'm going to say spades go last for this matter. So it'll be Jeff first.
Okay.
And then the vampire, and then Chester, who is in rough shape.
I'm in rough shape.
At least you recognize. That's good. Let's see here. I think I'm going to bolt again.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to try to bolt again. Am I at a -1 again?
Yes, because he's still in your way.
A 5 and a 6. I'm going to re-roll the 6, or I'm going to explode the 6.
Ooh, nice.
A 5, so I rolled an 11.
Yep. So that is so you beat his defenses, and you get a raise on that.
So the damage will be 3d6.
Yep.
Okay. One, 6, and 3.
So go ahead and re-roll the 6.
10 plus 3, 13 damage.
13 damage. So let me check. So that is he's stunned and a raise. He does get to roll the soak. What should rolls his toughness? Or he doesn't roll his toughness, he rolls his vigor. So he does soak 1, so he is just shaken. No, that's wrong. He soaked 5. No, he is shaken. So he will not be able to take actions next turn.
This turn or next? His
next turn. Yeah. All he can do is move, basically move for the next turn.
Okay.
So what he does, since it's his turn now, what he does is he actually moves back into the darkness. You guys still know he's there. You can still kind of see him in the glow of the light, so you can still target him, but you can't. But it'll be at a disadvantage, like a -1 or 2. And now it is Mike's turn. It is Chester's turn.
Well, being shaken, I can do very little. I'm gonna.
You can make a spirit roll to see if you can pull off the shaken. You might as well do it just to see if it, because I know it's low, but you might as well do it.
Yeah. So how does that work? Like when you do a spirit? Because I was looking at the shaken thing to see how that, basically you roll a spirit to remove.
You could act as normal at the beginning. If
But
you make the spirit roll at the beginning of your turn, you could act as normal.
But what determines success and failure?
It has to be above a 4.
Oh, okay. That's gonna be tough. Do I have to take my minuses into consideration too?
I'm not going to make you in this case.
Oh,
did you do it?
Well, I rolled a 4. I was bound to at one point.
You are able to act.
Oh no! I rolled a D4 instead of a D6. Oh.
I'm gonna say you made it. You're fine.
Yeah, well, that's better. Otherwise, it'd have been just more of the same.
Yeah, you'd have just been like backpedaling up the stairs.
Yeah, all I'm really doing is trying to get out of there. So, and if Jeff already out of there, or is
Yeah, he got all the way up to the top. He threw a card, and so if you're just moving this turn, you can get all the way out.
Well, as well. I mean, I'm moving up there, taking the lantern from Jeff, hucking it into the hole, and slamming.
Okay.
I don't really even care if we hit anything, but knowing that there's fuel in that lantern, might as well do this too. And I toss
the dirt cellar.
Should I make you roll an agility to see if you get it in the hole?
If you want to, that would be hilarious.
No, it's fine. No. Mike just, for some reason, Chester grabs the lantern, just drops it in his knees.
Just smashes it.
So yeah, you throw it. Jumel does say it's a dirt cellar. But there are some wooden shelving and stuff in there.
The deal isn't to start the fire down here. The deal is to prevent it from easily leaving if it's got any kind of phobia to the fire. So the stairs and the area around it should hopefully be covered in oil and flame.
Yep, you hear a screech as the stairs below start on fire, and the you slam the door down, and you can kind of see the flames licking the wooden trapdoor as that starts to smolder as well.
Okay. Is there anything in here we can?
Chester is very hurt. He is bleeding, and mangled a little. From
can I
multiple...
do a healing check, or are we still in combat?
I would wait till we get it out of here.
It takes 10 minutes, but yeah.
Let's get out of here and burn the place down before we worry about that.
I don't know if that's going to kill him if he's in the cellar.
Oh, okay. Well, then I take my 2 sticks of dynamite, put them on top of the... I put him on top of the door, and I say, "Okay, well that'll at least help."
I will start leading you out then, and I guess
Okay.
head back to the church.
Well, let's take out this hotel first. Make sure that
We'll go out the front door, and then I'll take one of the bottles of whiskey.
Okay. Yep. And then you just set the whole place on fire.
Yeah.
Okay. You spread around as much fire as you can, and the whole place goes up. There are now 2 buildings burning in Rifton's Rest. The saloon is still crackling happily away on the other side of the street. And now this becomes a roaring torrent. Yeah, and you walk back to the church.
on our way back to the church, since we're already losing daylight, if it's already 4, like because we're in there when they're about 4, that would probably take about 15-20 minutes at the most.
You were in there about 20 minutes.
Yeah, so let's I'll cover you if you want to kick down doors until we get to the church and make sure that we clear as much as we can in case.
Yeah, I'll knock. I mean, we have to walk by
several places, so
the apothecary, the bank, and the barbershop. You're tough to carry, man. You're heavier than you look.
Well, I can like cover my chest.
I'll set you in the middle of the street, and I'll check on. We already know the sheriff's office. The telegraph office is the only thing we didn't check on the other side of the street, right?
Yeah, and actually I believe the next building next to the hospitality hotel is the 4. Which one is the 4? Is the post office and telegraph station, and that's actually starting on fire.
That's starting. Okay.
Yeah.
So I will knock and see if anybody's alive and tell them to get out. But
which building? The post office?
Yeah.
The telegraph.
Yeah. Nothing in the telegraph.
Okay. Then I guess apothecary. Yeah. Oh wait, we tried the apothecary and couldn't get in.
It was locked. Both of you roll a notice check for me.
Do I notice my dynamite exploding? Probably.
This is technically when you first walked past the little alleyway there.
I got a D2. I got a 2 was my best. So
what about you?
Just a second.
Or do you not even want to roll?
D6. I got a D. 1d6 plus 1d6, and then I get a -2 on whatever I get there. So I got a 3.
You did. Yeah, you guys don't notice anything.
Okay. I'm a little preoccupied. I'm just like trying to keep my blood in my body at this point, like as futilely as that is, as Jeff is like knocking, is anybody alive in there? We gotta evacuate.
So yeah, okay, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think I might use a Benny.
Okay.
Is it too late to use a Benny?
Nope, you can use Benny on that and re-roll it.
Okay.
Actually, if you use a Benny, I'm just going to give you a success on it. I'm just going to say it's fine.
Okay, I'm going to use a Benny.
Okay, so with the Benny, what you do notice is when you carry him outside, you're trying to get distance between you and
right.
the potential explosion or inevitable explosion. And what you do see as you exit is there's a trail of smoke from the back of the hotel that basically leads to the blacksmith building.
All right, I think we got to go to the blacksmith.
And then as you're knocking on the
horseshoes,
and then as you're walking on you are knocking on the apothecary's door, basically the hotel explodes. Wood and 2 sticks of dynamite, wood and splinters and everything. It basically blows the roof off of the hotel and collapses the walls. So it's burning, and there's splinters and shrapnel all across the street and the whole area. A flaming piece goes into the building next to the hotel, and you can see that starting to flame up as well.
Okay.
Perfect. My job here is done. Blah. I don't know what kind of statue I get for that, but I get one, right?
Yeah, get your pistol out, Chester. I think that thing escaped to the blacksmith.
I look doggedly tired at this point, and I kind of get the pistol ready, and I kind of point it forward towards the blacksmith.
Yep. Okay, you guys move towards the blacksmith. Blacksmith is a small shop with a big, large outside open area. The door has been broken in, and you see the smoke kind of billowing out of the blacksmith shop. And you pretty much can know that it fled into this. It fled. If you kind of, well, you can't see it now. But you assume there was a way. There's like the door or something in the back of the hotel that allowed him to get out of the larder and flee over to here.
Is the forge fire still lit?
No, the blacksmith is completely cold.
Okay.
I mentioned to Jubal, I was like, slippery son of a bitch, isn't it?
It is.
I don't got much left besides bullets. What do you got in your bag of tricks?
I got a few more cards to try.
Get out your your thing of barbed wire. Try to escape this, sucker.
Yeah, that's just arcane protection. Okay.
So, how are you approaching the blacksmith? Are you just still outside of it, looking, and you're trying to look in, or what are you doing?
Slowly.
Okay.
Saying, we know you're in there. We could just burn you out.
You start, you hear a voice, kind of a deep but hollow voice coming from the inside of the blacksmith.
Yep.
And it's pretty much says, just let me go, or I can give you my gift and you can live forever. But you need to let me live. Let me live, and I can give you gifts untold of.
I look to gauge Jubal's reaction.
I'm not overly impressed.
And he says that. He says, from the blood of the wounded one, I know what you search for. The legacy of ages. You can live forever. People will tell your stories for an eternity. All you need to do is let me live until the sun goes down.
We can't let him live, Chester. I don't care what he's given us.
Well, I mean,
Chester shoots
the man out.
Chester shoots Jubal.
Ever since I've known you, all you've wanted was a quiet death.
Well, and to get on that boat.
And he says, death is never quiet. It will take you screaming, and I can give you the chance to elude it forever. I will erase all of your sickness, and all you have to do is let me see the sundown.
I don't know.
He means
how do we
he's
know
going to turn you into one of them, Chester. You won't have any free will.
You're probably right.
That is not true. One of my special children, you could be my equal, and we can ride into sunsets, sundowns forever. Build our legend together.
I open a bottle of whiskey and I hand it to Chester and I go, I think you're going to need a shot of this.
I'm Chester's seriously looking at this and he's like, well, I yell back in there, let me see what forever looks like. Kind of in that gravelly voice.
Well, you would have to come to me and I can show you.
I kind of put my hand out with the to take the whiskey from Jubal and basically tell him to light the fuse. Do you have, because you have a Molotov cocktails now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he made a Molotov cocktail out of it.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll light it.
Okay.
I said the choice is yours. I'm going back to the church if you're going to do something stupid.
I kind of look at him between the eye look, and he looks at he knows the look of like my character just is telling him like, just hold on a second. And so I'm going to go towards the door with this Molotov cocktail, and I'm going to look at what forever looks like.
What are you trying?
Waving the cocktail kind of in front of me like it's a torch.
Okay, well, if you're waving the cocktail in front of you and you approach the door, we're gonna pull initiative now.
I was just curious.
Card, you got a 4, Mike. Your second card is a 7. Jeff, you got a 5. And the baddie got a 2. So what happens is as you approach the door, he jumps at you as if to bite you like the last one did.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do since you're first?
Well, what does he look like?
He's tall. He's about 7 feet tall,
Okay.
but rail thin.
Does he look human, or does he look obviously like?
Oh no, he doesn't look. He doesn't look human at all. He looks like a classic depiction of a Nosferatu. Long talon fingers, a row full of teeth, yellow eyes that look kind of cataract in the light. He immediately starts smoking the minute he leaves the doorway. But yeah, and you know for a fact that by showing you eternity, he plans on biting you and turning you into one of them.
Yeah, I kind of thought that might be the case. Let's see here. Now, in shooting, is that when I throw with, or is that just for guns? And there's
it would just be agility, I believe, to throw it.
Okay, I can do that. Agility's fine. Because I see that and I'm like, no takers. And I try to just smash it in the face with this bottle as it lunges at me, mouth wide. I'm really aiming right for that section. But with a -2, we might have to
roll your agility plus your d6. And I'm not saying I hope for 2 ones, but
got an
go
explosion.
Ahead. Yep.
Nine.
So yeah,
that one.
That is, he's shaken and takes a wound. So he is very hurt. So you see it smoldering, like smoke pours off it, both from the light, the sunlight, and now it is on fire. You can hear it screaming and wailing as it shuffles around and tries to escape back into the blacksmiths. Yeah, and you can hear it smoldering. It's not dead.
This is when I quip something like, "Eternity looks pretty damn ugly, if you ask me."
And what would you like to do, Jubal? You do hear him saying, "You could have had everything. You could have had eternity. You could have had forever life."
Can I still see him?
Yeah, you can see him. It's the blacksmith is pretty small, so yes, you can still see him.
I'm going to use my skill calculating, my edge calculating.
Okay.
When my action card is 5 or less, I can ignore up to 2 points of penalties on one action that turn.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to fire a bolt at him.
Okay.
Just in case there was any cover or,
Yeah, it's dark in there. You can't see him great, but you can kind of see him. But there would have been a penalty. So yeah,
I'm gonna ignore them penalties, and I'm gonna use a Benny.
That was
To
unfortunate.
re-roll that. I'm just telling you.
Ooh.
Oh, there you go. Roll it again.
All right, so
roll your D8 again.
The 8 blew up. A 6, so 14.
14. So, yep, that is a wound and a raise. So it is shaken and wounded. So tell me what happens. How does this creature of the night perish?
I throw my flaming card and try to stick it right into his heart.
Okay. So you flick your card with utmost and skill. And you see the card razor into his chest, like just the tip, like enters his chest, but fire consumes him and he explodes. Bones, ossifying bone and things like explode. The blacksmith also starts on fire from the explosion. And the Molotov cocktail that engulfed his face moments before. So you have defeated the final vampire in Riften's Rest.
Holding my chest, and I'm like, it was pretty tempting. I mean, this hurts a lot. Turning doesn't sound so bad.
Make a vigor roll for me, Mike.
No. Can I just say no?
You can.
What is my vigor? I said it was 1d6 on this one, didn't I? Yeah. Nope. 1d4 for vigor, 1d6 for spirit. Got it. Okay. 2 minus 2 equals 0.
So even though you rejected the creature's offer, you do feel that there may be lingering motes of the infection within your within the wounds that you suffered from the master vampire. And in days you may potentially have a choice.
I'm gonna try to get him back to the church.
Okay.
Probably the best idea.
And I want to try and use a healing power on him.
Okay.
I did take the I have a knack. It's a breach birth.
Mm-hmm.
So I can babies born butt first have an uncanny ability to heal injuries.
Mm-hmm.
I can spend a Benny to use the healing power. I don't have to roll, and I automatically get a single success healing 1 wound.
Okay.
I'm going to use my last Benny to do that for Mike. I'm not saying it reverses anything about what you just did.
Okay.
But
so yeah, you are less wounded. You do have 2. You're down to 1. So you're much better walking back to the.
I mean, I could try to do a real roll on you, dude. I'm just trying to.
Not for 10 minutes.
That's good.
Right.
So you do make it back to the church, just as the sun goes down, and for the first night in almost a week in Riften's Rest, there are no creatures haunting the streets. You do, however, notice that the street lights do not come on, and the town is only lit by the buildings that are ablaze. And you think Riften's Rest may never be the same again. So a little
people alive to tell the story.
There are people alive. There are the outlying family. They're very thankful. They have a lot of gratitude for you helping them through this. They do. The priest offers you a blessing before you move on to the next town. So prologue,
because we're going to need it if I'm going to find Buck.
So prologue, what you do find is you actually do find your horses. Yes. They did wander outside of town, and when you find Rose, the donkey, you do see that there are 2 vampires that she had cracked the skulls of when they attacked her. She had kicked them to death. The body, however, of your bounty is gone. She apparently managed to kick that off somewhere as she was fighting vampires as effectively as anybody. I did roll for that while we were off, by the way.
All right, that's hilarious.
Fair enough.
I look at Chester and I'm like, in the greater scheme of things, one bounty, we'll find another.
It's always the next town.
And
I approach Rose and give it that good job, girl, good job.
And I'm assuming Black you only came back because it was following Bach.
Correct. Yeah, you managed to find your horses. They were smart enough to get farther enough away that the creatures didn't feel like they could make it to them and back before the sun came up. Rose, however, was killing vampires, so she stayed closer. So you did find her first.
She level up, or
she's very special donkey. So a prologue. You guys leave the town, loaded up with provisions, supplies, and a small amount of money from the coffers of the church. It wasn't as much as you would make on a bounty, but it isn't nothing. A few days pass as you travel towards the next town. Always the next town. Always moving west to get to the water. And one night, as Jubal sleeps, a figure comes to Chester. And the figure says, you are having a fight right now for your very spirit. You will have a choice to make. Over the next few days, I will return, and you can think about which fate that you want. You can either suffer his fate and become one of him, the master that you defeated, or you can take the offer that I have for you. And you see the figure. It has a long top hat and like a red velvet suit and a cane with a silver skull. And it says, the deal I offer is a good one, and it can give you a lot of legends in the future.
Does he look like Wesley Snipes?
No, he's a white guy. But he does remind you of stories you've heard of Old Scratch and his offerings to the wounded, the weary, and the cursed. So
I guess
that's our prologue. You don't get to make a choice now. If we ever play this character again, you can choose then. The out of in-game choice of what you have is you can either choose to let the vampire infection take you over and you can become a vampire, or you can become harrowed. I didn't manage to kill you during the game, which was my plan, and then make the harrowed offer, but you did everything fine. So
yeah, no, it's good. I do like the idea that that I definitely have a knack for getting into very bad situations.
Your characters are always interesting, and they usually take the forefront. So you definitely got beat up this game, but you lived.
Good, bad, or indifferent.
Really got beat up, dude. Every time.
Yeah,
the vampires were pretty dangerous. So
well, exactly.
Yeah, the vampires were pretty dangerous, and that's why it was a good idea not to. So that's the end of barbed wire and dynamite, as I called it. Our Deadlands one shot. Before I get into some like information about the adventure and stuff like that, is there any questions, comments, thoughts? Did you guys have fun?
I thought we were both gonna die. I really did.
You guys have fun?
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, I think that like, so I don't know enough about Savage Worlds to really like know how to game the system yet, but I feel like it started to emerge a little bit. Like you could tell from the read through that agility is like a super important stat. Like
it is, yeah.
Like it feels like out of the weighting of stats, like it was really important. But there were some moments where I really regretted having a high agility and a very low vigor, even though the character made sense to have that type of thing.
Well, the soak roll matters a lot for combat, which is your vigor, and then spirit matters because, like, if any damage is done, you're going to be shaken and not doing things the next turn, which is a big deal. Yeah. So that's like the gamey part is like you need to have vigor and you need to have spirit too, because vigor is how you're going to avoid wounds, and spirit is gonna be how you avoid just standing there if you are wounded.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like I feel like I definitely pulled off the glass cannon in feel, because it's like as soon as something touched me, I was like, fuck, I have to roll that D4 again. Oh no.
Right. Yeah.
And but in return, I did have some fairly accurate dice rolls that, made me feel like, oh, I was a Western bounty hunter that was doing pretty good. An old guy. And it's too bad that there wasn't an opportunity to really get the Aelin in there somewhere, but there, like, nothing, we didn't run into any fatigue moments.
Is it?
So.
Yeah. No, we really didn't. Because fatigue happens at very specific times.
Yeah, I was curious if there would be a way for us to get there, but that was my thought. I think I need to know a little bit more about the system, but
I do too. I should have tried to get you a fatigue state a little bit more often, but I didn't.
Well, if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't know much about Savage Worlds either, and I mean, I've played systems like this, right, with the dice mechanics and stuff, but I don't know. If we ever played them again, I do want to see what happens when I, do a deal with the devil.
Yeah, there's that mechanic.
And,
yeah.
It just didn't really come up.
No, it was a one shot, and it was a one shot that really wasn't like, I mean, like all my one shots, like combat and stuff, isn't going to be a big factor. Like you could have actually, I thought about this after I wrote it, after that first one, that first part of the adventure, the first session. I realized that you guys probably could have done the whole adventure without actually rolling dice potentially.
That's fine
technically. And I was like, oh, I didn't even think of that. Like, because you don't really ever have to fight the vampires, really.
Well, no, the vampires, like they seemed like they were just chilling like villains, but if you just burned, if we were arsonists, we could have definitely.
Exactly. Well, this is the whole point of this game, was what I always say in Dungeons and Dragons. I've said it in multiple games and you've run. I said, oh, there must be vampires, let's burn the whole house down, whole town down. And that was the answer in this case. Is the best the best way was probably to actually literally burn the whole town down.
Yeah. Well, and that was the thought. I just felt like there could, just to take the angle of like, well, I'm not just some psycho that's just like, well, there's no chance that there's 0 people alive in this situation, which is why I got stuck on the larder, but
right. But no, it was good. It was a lot of fun. I had fun running it for you guys. I hope you guys had fun doing it.
I had fun playing.
My lack of knowledge of Savage Worlds wasn't too over present constantly, but yeah. So you guys could have ended the game, and I thought you were going to last session if you'd just blown up the carriage, like right away. I was like, oh, I would have been like, oh, well, it's done.
Well, there was a part of me that was
I mean, I'm glad you didn't, but
how meta-gamey were we being, right? Like, I mean, we didn't know that these were vampires, literally. I think you mentioned vampires in the second session on accident.
Did. But I did, but I mean, essentially, you probably have heard folklore about vampires, so you guys probably would have figured it out.
Yeah.
But
so like without that idea, necessarily,
and you did see him get in and out of the the coach. So,
I mean, it could just be.
Yeah, we just didn't know what it was, so it wasn't.
Yeah, no, you guys handled it fine. It was just, I was just ready for it to just be over.
Yeah. The meta, I think that the hard part is that sometimes with scenarios like this, metagaming can be your enemy or your friend, because it's just like,
so the backstory is that the master and Billy stayed at a farmer's house a few miles away from the town and infected the farmer. And the farmer ran into town, and he's the one that was in the cell. The sheriff locked him in the cell, but he got one of the deputies, and the deputy spread it amongst the town.
Yeah.
And that's why Billy didn't arrive until just before you guys. Is because they stayed at the farm until they thought the town was pretty close to taking over. And then that's when Billy came to the farm, to the town. And then there's 3 different types of vampires. There was the drone vampires, which were just the savage ones that were running around that didn't react at all when you guys came in the room. there was the intelligent one, like the dad. That was the dad, the intelligent one. So there was
the
3 of
biggest
those
chunk
ones.
out of me.
Yeah, there's 3 of those, and then there was the master.
Yeah, they suck. They suck hardcore.
Yeah,
because it took major use of bennies and extremely good rolls.
Yeah. The drones didn't have any wounds. The drones were like, if you hurt them, they died, but you guys didn't attack any of them. If you hurt them, they just died. Like the intelligent ones had 2 wounds, and then the master had your guys's wound level.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
Yeah.
No, I thought we were gonna die. I really did.
Well, it could, like, there were points in there where I think that easily, I think the bennies kind of help you, get your bacon out of the fire kind of thing. Cause you're like, okay, well, I'm going to use that to soak up a wound. Cause that just has to happen. And I think that, if we were to play a longer game with this, I can imagine bennies being very much like, that back and forth. Like, I give you bennies for all kinds of cool stuff.
I would give you guys bennies more often now. I would give you bennies more often for like cool ideas. Like moving the pulling the curtain down and the one vampire is rolling under the bed. I would have given you a benny for that because I think that was pretty clever. There's a couple things that you did, Mike, that I liked a lot that I would have given bennies to. I don't remember off the top of my head, but there were a few.
Pickle barrel guy.
Yeah, that was really good. I really did like that where you guys rolled the. I don't know. Let's just trap that shit. So yeah.
Yeah, no, but I think that I think it naturally comes out, and I think that once you get used to the idea of the bennies, I mean, the bennies feel like a really big part of this game, like exploding dice and bennies, like that's your benefit here.
And the exploding dice are cool because you feel like you're doing something cool when you hit that exploding dice. I really like that. And I really like that. I forgot. I like that. Like that Earth Dawn was the game that I'm most familiar with that. And I forgot how good that feels when you roll that exploding dice and like you can just it's just.
Well, if it keeps exploding too, if
we
you
didn't
just
get
hit
any
that
of those.
6,
We didn't get anything beyond.
Right. Didn't I get one?
You did. You did. No. You both did. Because that's how you got some. That's how you basically flash fried that one vampire. Is you rolled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you rolled I think you rolled an 8 on a D8, and then you rolled another one, and then one more, and that's how you flash fried that vampire. And then Mike did. I don't remember.
I rolled 2 6s at once, but I rolled an 11 on one of my attacks. I think for Billy, poor Billy, I shot him in the hip with an 11. Like I was just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and so he was gonna let Billy out when night happened, and Billy was gonna get him into the church. Was what was gonna happen, but Billy got cooked in the jail as the rest of the buildings burned down.
Well, he wasn't exactly a good guy.
No, he was a thrall to the master. He was his daylight agent, which is what would have happened. Like he would have made you a vampire, and he would have made Jeff a daylight agent if you guys would have accepted that offer. Yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad offer, but since he didn't look very good, there was a sophomoric part of me that was just like, there's no point in living forever if you're
going to be ugly as sin.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. I've run Deadlands once before, their regular system, and I didn't enjoy it that much, but I did enjoy this quite a bit. I think it was fun to write for and run you guys through. So thank you.
Well, Savage Worlds is pretty popular. A lot of friends like that. One of our friends really likes. What the hell is it? There's a specific setting that he really, really enjoys in Savage Worlds, and I'm gonna look for it real quick. Just a second. You guys can.
Rifts. It's Rifts, right? It's the Rift Savage World.
Something to do with fire or frost. Do you remember that?
No. I mean, it's a pretty for a universal system. It's pretty easy and pretty nice, really. I think I need to read more and learn it a little bit better, but I think once you get the idea, it will go really smooth.
There's some. Is it Hellfrost? I think it's Hellfrost. I think that's what it's called, Savage Worlds Hellfrost. Because what's impressive to me, and that's basically there's 2 worlds, and he specifically liked the Land of Fire. that they did as part of that. But honestly, I have to say that like just because I was kind of glancing at it, and I had a chance at the game store. I went there last night because I was taking my little guy around, and they got me a little bit. Got this book, the Techno Fantasy book. So it means I was hoping to find the other one.
Is that Fabula? That was Fabula Ultima. Is that what that was?
Yeah, because they were doing these little atlases that they were doing. This is the Techno Fantasy, and then they had a in case you're wondering, nope, too much light.
Nope, I saw the title. Yeah,
but then I also picked up the starter set for Cypher System.
Oh,
because there's a part of me, like the way the guy described it was so much better than how I perceived it when I first started to look at it. So I don't know. He was a wizened old gamer.
You never have to roll dice in Cypher. Like the person running the game never rolls dice in Cypher.
Yeah, so the players always roll it. But because I asked him, and this person seems like they played a lot of Cypher System. Like when I asked him about other systems, he was like, I don't know those as well. And so many years invested in the system. So it was kind of
that's cool. But you had somebody like reference it. Yeah, I think that's
and they're an employee there, so because they work there and they play the Cypher, I can get tips. Which
it's really popular. It's really popular. A lot of people enjoy it. That's why that's one of those games that people make a lot of stuff for.
Yeah, but they also did have Dragon Age that's built on the Fantasy Age system. I wanted to kind of buy that.
Yeah, but you can't play Flesh Pit or whatever the hell that game is called.
No.
What was that game called? You're
talking about the what the fuck was it called? Mystery Flesh Pit.
Park
RPG.
You both laughed like what I was saying was ridiculous, but I knew it was Mystery Flesh Pit or something like that.
Yeah,
that's Numenera or the Cypher System.
Oh well, I mean, other than reading descriptions of some of these things and finding the weirdest shit online, there's only so much you can do, right? Yeah. So, but yeah. So I think I don't know what our next game is going to be. Do you guys have any ideas? Agile, do you have any ideas for games we should pick up before my wife notices our credit card bill?
At some point I want to do Shadows over Saul.
Okay.
Try that. But I don't know when I'm going to be ready for that.
All right. Jeff, any thoughts?
Electric State, were you going to try Electric State?
I do, but I think I want to run it, but I think I'm going to wait a little bit on it yet, because like as I was reading it, I'm just like, I think I have to be in the right space for this game, because it's not. I mean, it's like a journey of introspection and self-discovery and like interpersonal relationships. So it's very heavy on the role play and stuff. And I don't know. Like
Agile suggested Castles and Crusades.
Oh, really?
Reforged.
Oh, Castles and Crusades Reforged?
Yeah.
It's got a Reforged?
I didn't know that it had a Reforged. I missed that.
Oh, that's cool. Is that a new game? Let's look.
As well.
The new version.
Castles and Crusades Reforged. It got a Kickstarter last year. Funded in 13 minutes. Perfect. Okay.
That's fast.
I love all of the games that are like funded in 13 minutes, like Cult, Divinity Lost. They're like, we funded in 10 minutes. And it's like, well, yeah, you have a huge fan base.
Or, oh yeah, you set your goal really, really stupidly low.
Oh no, they had a decent goal. It was 250,000, I think.
Oh, okay. That isn't bad.
They made like 3 million krona.
Nice.
Monopoly money. The system was designed to be rules light, allowing new players to learn the system in under 15 minutes. Okay. Sure.
You could run Mike. You could run By the Water Under the Hill. You could do some quality hobbiting.
I could. I feel like I run into the same problem with that game that I run into with Electric State a little bit though, where it's just like, okay, well, you guys are hobbits.
Do hobbity things.
Go be
four,
hobbits.
4 million, 4 million, yeah, whatever. 4 million krona. When you say halfling, people know what you mean. Yeah, 4 million krona, which I can't remember what that is in
yeah, there's a conversion. I just don't know what it is.
American bucks.
Huh. I'll have to see because I think it looks like Castles and Crusades Reforged is the new version. I'll look and see where it's available.
Reforged is a completely removed OGL new version of my top RPG of all times. That's amongst it.
Oh, so
that's some
high
good
praise.
Yeah, that is high praise.
Well, so right now, what am I preparing? Inevitable, Spire, and I could probably put some Castles and Crusades on there, especially if it's meant to be learned in 15 minutes. That isn't hard. I can do that.
I'm in. 15 minutes, I'm in.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if it's like, easy to learn, hard to master, or, I mean, you'll have to let us know, Agile, because that's kind of a different thing there. But maybe plan for that 2 weeks from now. I bet I can get it on drive through if I really need to. So let's see.
Probably.
How do you spell drive through?
With a D.
Oh man. So best-selling titles today: Warhammer Fantasy Role Playing, High Elf Player Guide. Okay. Karoom Station Blues, Black Oath Entertainment. What is that for? Is an introductory scenario for Across 1,000 Dead Worlds. Well, that sounds fun. What? That's the name of the system? Across 1,000 Dead Worlds? All right.
That game will either be amazing or it'll be like the worst edgelordy thing ever.
Oh, I've seen this one. I really liked the art, but it's let's see, whatever. I'll show you guys with the art later. But apparently it's 5 stars, 25 ratings. I'll give it 5 stars. So, all right. And to celebrate GMs, they've been given. I'm off on a tangent. Fuck.
It happens. You dove into the rabbit hole. It's funny. I've been reading Shadows over Saul, and they use the Saga system, which is all cards, which sounds hard until you take a look at it, and then it's a little bit easier. But it's interesting, and it's an interesting setting. It's a hard sci-fi setting. Mike is in the rabbit hole.
Well, I have to go to Trollord Games, and I don't, our group has never actually played Castles and Crusades, for as much as I've always seen it talked about and run around. Because Trollord Games, they've done a lot of stuff, but it'd be actually interesting. I'll see, because I'm not seeing the Reforged stuff, so I'll have to look it up. See what's happening.
Mike will investigate and see how much he can learn.
Yeah, because I see the Castles and Crusades, but then they kind of done the 8th printing 2021 PDF only. I don't know what that means. And then it has a Castle Crusade Player's Handbook, but where's Reforged?
I mostly run horror games, Agile. That's why I've never played it.
Castles and Crusade Complete Bundle. Okay.
Not that version. That was very, very intense. Not that version from Agile on that.
Well, it kind of comes back into the thing, because it's Castles and Crusades Player's Handbook 4th printing. What? What am I getting out of the 4th printing? Oh, I can get the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th printing? Well, that's nice. Is there a benefit to having the multiple printings, Agile? I'm just curious. Like
he said no. But which one does he need to get? The 6 printing or
right?
or Reforged specifically, or did they do a Savage Worlds on us and name the editions of the book goddamn impossible to tell which one's the newest one? I wanted to throw things at Savage Worlds at one point. Deluxe Adventurers Edition. Brand new 12-inch Adventurers Edition. Because all these names, these words mean nothing to me.
Yeah, I make it clear.
These words are so much like D&D 2020 live
2024, 2014, 2020.
living game book
I think I found it.
stuff. Mike has victory.
I think. Okay. Now
I love the confidence, Mike. Say it again.
It will. Well, I'm good at. So it's under the scratch and dent. I'm not really sure I understand what's going on here. But it says
Scratch and Dent's the name of my autobiography, by the way.
It's fairly true. But it says Castles and Crusades Player's Handbook, parentheses, Reforged 10th P S&D. What that means. But I assume that the Reforged is the one I'm looking for, but they're calling it the 10th printing.
Here, Agile, if you have a link to it, I'm sure Mike would appreciate it because he's going to buy 40 of the wrong books.
That's the one, the complete bundle. Oh, Jesus. I didn't even notice what Agile was doing. I was like so laser focused that Agile's just like having a hernia.
He was trying to help as you were. He was trying to help as you were stabbing him in the brain with every word.
Hey, man. I eventually get to the answer. I'm not old enough that I don't know how to use the internet, but I'm also not.
Mike and I are definitely a learn by failure type of people. Trial and error is strong, and I'm like.
Well, what's interesting is that they didn't change the cover on the Castles and Crusades for the different printing. It's like,
oh my god. If they had done that in Savage Worlds, we would have never gotten to the game. I would have just been like, no, I'm never giving these people money ever.
No.
If the cover was just the same on all of them, I would have just been like, no, they're not getting a dime.
Or even worse, what would be is if they just had like a default image that somebody kept putting for each of the different printings, and it was totally a different cover that you got. That would be more fun. Obviously, if anybody from Troll Lord Games stops by, we're not making fun. We're just confused gamers that want to spend money on a book. That's all we are.
We're often confused.
Very much so. And also across the 1,000 Dead Worlds, I guess. While we're here.
While I have this credit card in my hand.
Maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay,
well, that's all I got. So maybe we'll do a little Castles and Crusades Reforged when I figure it out. So.
Oh, Across 1,000 Dead Worlds does have really good art.
Yeah, I saw the art when it came out, and I think there was a post on Reddit for it, and I thought that was kind of neat. So.
Yeah, I think I have seen this before. Now that I see the art. But I think that's all we got for tonight. Thank you guys for joining us for my game, and thank you, Mike and Jeff, for letting me run the game and having fun. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for running it, man. It was fun. I hope some people like seeing little.
You made very
Western
competent
RPG.
You made very competent cowboys. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next week.
Thanks.
All right. Take care.